speaker has come all the way from Naples, Florida. And so without any further ado, I introduce to you our beautiful good friend, Ursula Kaiser.
Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you, Susan, for organizing it. Normally, I don't have to fly that far. I lecture a lot in my neighborhood, Naples, Miami, Sarasota, sometimes Chicago, New Hampshire. But I love Calgary. I used to ski here in Banff and Lake Louise. Beautiful. But living in Florida for about 12 years, this is cold right now. I wanted to be a little bit more assertive than last time. Because what I realized, people don't take it too serious. Prevention, prevention. That's what life is all about. And we are here to have choices, freedom, awareness, and hope, and prevention, prevention. I read a lot, and I have a lot of my professional friends who update me what is the latest of the latest. And I've seen an article here in the Herald in August, because they have cancer months of ovarian cancer, they have cancer months of breast cancer. Every month is another cancer month. And it says, be aware, that's what cancer doctors said, be aware of the cure. And they're talking about me, who had coffee enema, juicing, saw some crazy people, where they said it's full of hoax, but it's for you to make that choice. It's not for anyone else. They also said that out of 5, 2 people have cancer now, and in 2 years, every other person will have cancer. So the body can heal, so it's prevention, prevention. Luckily, New York Times had an article also in August and said, shock study, chemotherapy can spread and make a tumor grow. And they obviously had some research done on it. John Hopkins, who also had an article in August in the paper saying, we used to say chemotherapy is the only way we try, and that's what the word is, try to eliminate cancer. Now they say the alternative ways. And that's what I'm here, but I'm not here just for cancer. I'm really here for prevention. And give you ideas and suggestions of what to do and whatever I've learned. Now, I do have to say that since I live in the United States, Reagan announced 30 years ago the war against cancer. That was 30 years ago. Every 12th person had cancer at that time. If you remember, out of 5, 2 have cancer now. This is really bad. I, for instance, have an iPhone. My iPhone, if I'm lost, gets me home or to another address. If I forget the address, I can Google it. My brother lives in Germany, and if he's bored, believe it or not, he looks where I live and he can see me walk across the street. I hope he's not too bored all the time and watch me. But luckily, he cannot look into my condo, so this is good. So you can't tell me there isn't a cure for cancer, please. I love pink, it's my favorite color, but if I see the pink ribbon, I gag. My girlfriend was up there, I had to promise her never ever to give money to it. I know they're doing some good things, but overall, where is the cure? Plus they can say, give for the cure of cancer. Where is the cure of cancer? I know they're helping some people financially, but overall, it is back to chemo and radiation. And it's everyone's choice, but you have choices and freedom nowadays for whatever. Now we are very fortunate to have some younger doctors out. One of my favorite ones is Dr. Lee, William Lee. He's on YouTube, and Dr. Oz. Everyone loves Dr. Oz. And whenever Dr. Lee said something, Dr. Oz would say, oh, I didn't know, or I didn't know. And he's also on TED platform. I don't know if you know what that is. It's TED platform. I love that. He's a great speaker, and he talks about anti-angiogenesis. I never heard of that word before, and I love this because you can put him on hold, go in Google, and find out what the word is. It's property in foods. And that's food which help you that new way of thinking of cancer to maybe juice or take food and starve your cancer. Or maybe even use food for your chemotherapy. And he is fantastic in his lecture. he is my idol. So one day I'm going to do just like him, just be a little crazy and run around. But he also explains how cancer works, how you can feed cancer, and how you can stop cancer. So, and not too many people really know that. And what he said too is like, for instance, red grapes, high in resveratrol, lemons. I have a lemon every day. Really works with killing cancer cells in your body. Berries. Now, when I was 13 years ago diagnosed, they said berries isn't good. Now they're changing it a little bit. So things change. That's why I like to update my book with my new information. And what he was saying too is like, white tea is good, green tea is good, but a combination of tea, like 8 herbs, like Renee Casey, that is fantastic. And that's actually the recipe from fluorescence. And that is 10 times fold better than any single tea. The same as food. If you make a blend, which I do every morning, my book has lots of recipe in there. I throw everything in there, and then I drink it. That's my breakfast. And you can change it, but this is really where he said the combination is stronger. So throw everything in your blender in the morning. It takes 5 minutes or less to organize it. I made a couple notes before I start with my PowerPoint information. Now, I don't know if you know who Dr. McCullough is, but friends of mine are very connected to Dr. McCullough. He is a wonderful guy. They're trying to put him in jail, but he has some upper people which help him and support him. And he, for instance, would say that there is food which can change your DNA. And this is what I'm going to say later on, because not only that it can change your DNA for the positive, but also for the negative. And I hate to say that. And just to give you an example, I have a girlfriend of mine, Colleen. I met her 20 years ago in Naples, Florida. And she told me, Ursula, I only have 2 years to live. And I didn't know what to say. I says, which illness do you have? She said, hepatitis C. I says, how do you get hepatitis C? She said, well, when I was younger, I used some drugs, some injection, and that's how you get it. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And every 4 months, I used to fly from Chicago to Florida to warm up. I would meet her, and then she would say, oh, I have another year to live, or another 4 months. And all of a sudden, she wasn't saying anything anymore. She looked good. I said, what happened? She says, oh, I'm taking this tea from Renee Casey. And I said, great. I mean, I had no idea what that was. That was the fluorescence tea. She said, it's something in there which is a thistle. There's like different herbs in there which will help for detoxing her liver. She is in total remission of her hepatitis C, and the doctors can't believe that her liver counts are just normal. So that's what I'm saying. You don't have to get complicated with prevention. You can do it very simple. Now, since I live in the States, Oprah, we love her. She no longer has a show, but Dr. Oz has it now. Live, love, and thrive all the way till 95. Now, we all would like to do that, but it's not as simple as just taking like a couple herbs and vitamins. It's a little bit more to it. It's a lifestyle, really. Now, we have learned this in school, that we are electromagnetic beings. This means that every nerve cell is really electric current in the body, and every cell we have is like a mini battery. And our muscles are really powered by the food we eat. That's why it's so important that you know what to put in your stomach. Now, I don't know who's going to have their car in for tune-up. I'm sure all of you take your car in for tune-up. Well, who takes your body in for tune-up? Well, I teach you how to do that in a simple way. Resources. I love resources. I love the internet. And I love YouTube. First, when they told me I would give you $5,000 to invest in YouTube, I said, no way. Now, I would. Forks Over Knives is a movie from 2 doctors. And they talk about really healing your body with food. And they do talk about organic. They're more into being total vegetarian, which I totally don't believe in necessarily. I think that some people do need meat. But in order to help yourself for cancer and heart disease, that's what they're saying. Food Matters is also a movie where they talk about cancer, diabetes, heart attacks, and how to really eat correctly. This was from doctors. Now, Earthing is a book, and you can go on the website, and it means that we are on telephones all the time. we are on internet, we don't connect to the earth anymore. We are like electric and magnetic connected to the earth, and we are not anymore. Even if you buy shoes which are rubber, this means we are not connected. It has to be leather. And I, as a vegan, have to cheat now all the time. Food Inc. I didn't want to watch that movie because I was a vegan at that time. And you have to make sure that you have really free-range meat and free-range chicken. Genetic Roulette movie, it's a new movie. And this is really interesting because GMO right now allowed. California voted no more GMO. And that's where they talk about the dark side. A lot of doctors saying what is happening in the last 12 years. A lot of Canadian doctors were involved in it too. It's a wonderful movie just to watch. The same like Cancer, the Forbidden Cures. It's a great movie, and we will put everything which is not in the book, which is updated, in an email out and send it to you so that you will have the information. Now, Renee Casey is to me like Maria Teresi. For 50 years, she worked on this recipe and helped people with different illnesses and cancer. She didn't give up. They put her in jail several times, and you can see her in this mini movie on YouTube. Fantastic. Also, Harry Huxley, never heard the name before, Dr. Huxley. He, in the 40s, cured people of cancer. He had 14 or 15 alternative clinics. And there was a guy who chased him down, literally. He came from a very wealthy family, so they took him to court 100 times. But one day, they padlocked all his clinics, and then he moved to Mexico. Same as Max Gerson. Max Gerson came in the 30s to New York, and he was a German doctor who told everyone, smoking is not good. While the doctors, and you can see it on the movies, it's really great to see this. You see the doctor smoking and making a commercial and saying how good it is for you to smoke. I mean, hello, in the meantime, we know it's not happening. It's not good for you. The war on health. This is from the United States. I don't know how the FDA is here, but it's like the exposure of what they vote on without asking us. Now, the cancer cure, Rick Simpson on YouTube is wonderful. I'm going to go into details because there's a guy in Kentucky who's been doing it for 10 years, and legally they got him, trying to get him into jail, but he always gets out of jail because he uses religious reason. He talks to everyone, he's very open, sends it to everyone, and helps everyone, which is great. Hippocrates is the father of the medicine. So 2,500 years ago, he said already, let thy food be the medicine, and thy medicine be the food. The body heals. You just have to help it at times. Now, the Dr. William Lee and a lot of my friends, they're functional medicine doctors now. This means they're learning food first, not like the regular doctors. They had less than 1 hour nutrition. These doctors learn all about nutrition first. So you are what you eat. And I personally love the internet because I think it's great to do the research. I want to know and take my choice and then decide what I want to do. Now, my story. I'm going to keep it short because I have so many other information for you. I was in perfect health when one night I thought I was going to die. I had blood clots coming out of my body, so I called my 2 best girlfriends and told them I'm going to die tonight. And they go, oh, come on, Ursula, drama queen, forget it. You're going to live, it's a cyst, you're bleeding, that's all, you're menopause. And I go like, well, okay. I didn't sleep much, but I went to my oncologist or radiologist, no, my gynecologist the next day. He put a camera in and he said, it's a cyst. So come this afternoon, so we stop the bleeding and I'll operate. It was supposed to be half an hour. 4 hours later, I'm totally drugged coming out of there. And he says, call me in 10 days, but don't worry. He called me in 5 days and says, you have to come in earlier. And I says, okay, I'm not here, I'm in Florida, relaxing, walking the beach, I'm not gonna come back early. So when I came back, he told me, you have cancer, just like that, you have cancer. And I'm like, I told myself, I'm not gonna cry in front of him, I'm gonna go home and cry. Well, I wasn't even in the car, and I just cried and cried, went home, went on my knees and said, listen, God, why now, why me? It's a bad time right now for me. But I guess it's never a good time. So after crying for I don't know how long, I decided, what should I do? I called a couple of my friends who are more alternative thinking and see what to do. I had friends who were radiologists, oncologists, and they of course had the same thing to say: you need chemo and radiation, and you need a second operation. So after going to the best clinics, I decided I'll have the second operation and then think about it. I went actually hiking afterwards to Montana to think about it. And then when I came back, they told me I have 3 months without chemo and radiation, and I have a year with chemo and radiation. My girlfriend Wanda, who I dedicated this book to, is up in heaven because she didn't believe in all this. I saw her going downhill with the chemo and radiation. That was the second time she was doing it. So I decided not to. I'll take that year or 3 months, whatever I have. And a girlfriend of mine gave me the book Cancer Battle. Now, when I read this book, it gave me hope, and that's why I want to lecture. I want to give hope and tell people prevention, prevention, prevention. So no one has to walk this walk I had to walk. So my decision was made. Now, where to go, I have no idea because no internet. So I went and started going to the library. A friend of a friend recommended a clinic in Mexico. So off I went with my girlfriend Wanda to Mexico. The first clinic was not that clean, so we switched clinics. Then we switched one more clinic because we didn't feel that comfortable. It was new to us. When they were saying coffee up your butt, we were like, oh my God, do we really have to do this? But we saw a movie, and that movie showed us that it is actually, when you drink coffee, it's acid. If you do it up your butt as an enema, it alkalines your whole body. And it goes through your blood system, and it really stimulates all your organs. So it does so much more, especially when you have cancer. You have a hard time to alkaline your body. So we did German ozone. This means they take your blood, they put ozone in there, and then they put it back, your blood, in your veins, because cancer cannot live in ozonated stage. Colonics, never even heard of it before, a new word to me. I did the colonics twice while I was there, and I still do it every other year. Laetrile. I read a book afterwards on Laetrile. It's not legal in the United States. It's apica pits. You could buy it 13 years ago illegal under a health food store, under the counter. Now we buy it from Canada, so I don't know what the law is in Canada. It's strong. It's almost like chemotherapy in there, so you can't have more than 10 a day. And I used to mix it with, actually friends of mine still do it 3 or 4 a day for prevention. Breathing techniques, obviously. Meditation, Qigong, which I still do at the ocean. And of course, health food. Strict, strict, strict. Many options at that time, and I picked what I felt comfortable with. I looked at different clinics, like Gerson. It was way too strict. I saw another clinic, which is Hilda Clark. I don't know if you read her book, but I tell you the truth, if I have to follow and do everything she did, I rather was willing to die. So I picked whatever I liked, and I think that's your choice, and now you have even more choices. I found an alternative oncologist in Chicago, and he said, Ursula, you're messed up. Your white cells are still not doing well, and you need to do a little bit more even after Mexico. He said, it's like a puzzle, your body. In one day it will heal, so just help it. I read about frequency Rife, R-I-F-E. Never heard of it before. I found a guy in St. Augustine. When I heard of it, what I was supposed to do, I thought he was nuts, and I was nuts to go there and spend money to do this. But why not? I'm going to die, so might as well spend my money. Hey. Donna Edens is a crazy young lady who teaches medicine healing. It's like giving yourself acupuncture. I did more research, reading up, and still do it obviously all the time. Lived in Chicago, so Chinatown. You have to go to Chinatown. He looked at my tongue and he says, oh, no good, you have a bad tongue. Chemo, no good. Radiation, no good. But me, I'm good. You gotta take my tea, which I did. I hope I never have to drink that tea again. Fluorescence tea is like nothing. It's like breathe. It's wonderful, it tastes good. But he did tell me, sell everything you have and move away. I had a company in Chicago. I manufactured kitchen utensils, sold to Martha Stewart, worked with some big chiefs, and I was in a lawsuit for 12 years. That's why I got my cancer, even though I was eating healthy. And I decided it would be good to let go of life. So I sold it, and I had a condo in Naples where I moved to, walked the beach, and I thought maybe I have 3 years to live, maybe 5 the most. I met a girl in Mexico, and we always went and said, God, please, give us 5 more years. Every day will be a gift. We'll be in so much gratitude. And all of a sudden, the 5 years were there, coming around the corner. We met every year to celebrate life. And after the 5th year, you're like, I think we're going to live. I don't think we're going to die. And if you would go to an oncologist, they would tell you, oh, you have your secondary cancer coming. It's breast cancer for you now. You're switching. And you really need to be on tamoxifen. I had no cancer anymore. Why would I be on tamoxifen? Well, needless to say, I didn't go to see those doctors anymore. Now, these are simple ways of reducing the risk. Obviously, we all know to watch our weight, to think natural. Chemicals is a no-no nowadays. That's why there are more health food stores ever coming up, and bigger health food stores. Think high cholesterol, we all know it's not your friend. And what's important is to listen to your dentist. Gum disease really go into your system and really can start even cancer. Stay away from stress. Being 12 years in a lawsuit, I'm telling you, it wasn't easy to forget the stress. But I'm still here, and I just ended my lawsuit a 1.5 years ago. It was big chiefs there who copied my patents. So we had 2 lawyers, they had 20 lawyers. So I learned for 10 years trying to be stress-free and staying healthy. Happiness and laughter, of course. Well, sometimes you can't laugh because life isn't always that funny. But movies. Friends of mine, every Wednesday night, have funny movies. And I'm German, so some of those movies are too corny for me to laugh. But because they laugh, and then they laugh, and all of a sudden we're all laughing. Avoid the no-nos, high temperatures. We all know that. It doesn't mean that once in a while you can have, I at least, sweet potatoes, fries I love. I have them once a year. And meat. Of course, meat has to be organic meat. Sugar is a no-no. Honey, there are other things to do. Turmeric. I have so many drinks with turmeric. I have turmeric every day in my drink. It actually eats up the cancer cells. It's amazing how it works. So turmeric is a must. Pomegranate and resveratrol, high antioxidant. And even if you have cancer, you still can take it. When I had the cancer at that time, they said no, and now they realized what really resveratrol and all this really does. That actually they have like websites on it for prostate cancer, for breast cancer, amazing. Now, fermentation. This is new also for me. It's not new for me, but in the book, Tyboff on lecturing, Dr. McCullough had an interview for 3 hours. It was pretty boring 3 hours, but I listened to it. And I'm trying to shorten it, but you can go online for fermenting food and why. Traditionally, like my mother and my grandmother had sauerkraut and vegetables for the winter, which they fermented. And the body needed fermentation. Now it does lacto fermentation, so you have to really make sure it's the right fermentation. Scientifically, the process of fermentation breaks down really everything in the pre-digestion, and it increases with your own vitamins, minerals, and proteins actually you have in your body. It also improves absorbability of nutrients, the vitamins you're taking into your system. Did you know that 80% is in your gut? This is amazing. It's all in here. If we would all know this, when we put food in our body, we would be a lot more careful. And it depends on where the bacteria lives too. I saw in Dr. Oz that we have in our gut between 300 and 600 bacteria living in there. And this means they're not all good ones. But fermentation will take care of it. Leaky gut, My girlfriend actually lectures on leaky gut. It takes her over an hour, but you can repair your leaky gut with fermented foods in about 4 days. That's how simple it is. And did you know too that there are more bacteria cells than really your human cells in your body? That's just amazing. So traditionally fermenting foods is a great way to improve your flora of your digestions and intestines too, and maintain your health. So it's important to do that. I think there are a lot of drinks at the health food stores you can buy which are fermented. I think there's another company I'll come up with, Fluorescence and Beati, I think. Broy's Cure. Now, I have never heard of Broy's Cure till May. And Susan had this book on Broy's Cure. And she said, read the book. And I go, oh God, I just finished 10 books to update my book. I don't want another cancer book. But once I looked at it, I finished it in an hour. This guy in the 50s and 60s helped over 100,000 of people in Europe. And he has this idea, or his theory is, that if you have cancer and you take proteins, this means any meat, chicken, or even like milk, dairy, you shouldn't have it for 42 days. And in 42 days, and the recipe's in there in the book, or in the edition I'm going to send to you, it actually, you can take herbal tea with it. The fluorescent would be a very good choice, or whatever, but take more herbals at once. It really detoxifies the body, cleans, eliminates, and you'll be surprised what is coming out of your body. I went for lunch after I came back, and there was an older lady, this mentioned, I think I'm 30 years old, I'm sure to young kids I'm old, but I'm not 30. And she said, oh yeah, I did the Broy's Cure. I had cancer, and they gave me like 1.5 years to live. So I did Broy's, but I'm lazy. I didn't want to juice. She went to the health food store. And I said, which health food store? Where did you find it? She named in Naples the health food store and said, it's a Beati. And I went in and asked for it, and they said, we don't have it. Luckily, someone else was there and said, oh yeah, it's in the vegetable juice section. And I found it. Amazing. So you can do your cleansing real easy by just drinking it once a week or every other week. It doesn't have to be that complicated, and you can save buying a juicer if you don't want to. So this is optional, and this is prevention. Let's see, okay. Tips for prevention. We talked about the clean diet. Why do you have to do this? Because healing process. We all do something silly, stupid, with our body, with eating at times, our thinking. And Jack LaLanne was 96 when he died, said already, if man made it, don't eat it. He was right. He didn't know about the GMO at that point. He would have just lectured right against it. Organic, definitely. Fasting, you could be as simple as just taking the juice. That's fasting. So it's not like that difficult. Sprouting, I used to sprout and now I'm lazy, I buy it. So fresh vegetable juice, you can buy too, or you can buy it freshly juiced, or you can buy it in a bottle. Smoothies, I have lots of recipes for smoothies, which are great. One of my girlfriend has a drink. I would only recommend it when you have cancer, because it doesn't taste good. I send it to a girlfriend of mine, but it's just an option if you have cancer. They claim in 3 months you get rid of your cancer. When my girlfriend opened it up, she said she almost threw it out. It smelled funny, but that's was supposed to help her. So I tried it, but no thank you, and I don't get cancer anymore, so that is not on my list. Alkaline. It's like if you take 2 times half a tablespoon of quality baking soda, you alkaline your body. You feel a cold coming up? Just do that for 1 or 2 days, you don't have a cold. There are some new products which are coming in too, where it's high in resveratrol and it helps with free damages, radical damages. Cleansing and detoxing, easy and affordable. Hot bath, Epsom salt, baking soda. It detoxes the largest organ of your body, which is the skin. I still do enemas. I do it, I don't know, every other week, once a week, once a month, depends on how I feel. Pulling techniques. Now, when we talked about the dentist, it's very important. Oral cavities. You can have sunflower oil or coconut oil. Since Dr. Oz has coconut oil on TV, everyone wants coconut oil. We were sold out one day in Naples, didn't matter where you went, it was gone. Tongue scraping, radishes too. It breaks up the mucus and is high in vitamin C. Liver flush. You can make your own liver flush, real easy. I do that every 2 months. And I take 1 clove of garlic, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 8 ounces of citrus, it could be orange, could be grapefruit, could be lemon, and 1/4 cup of fresh parsley. Fluorescence, herbal tea, I'm only saying it because I love Renee Casey. After seeing that movie, you gotta go and see that movie, which is on YouTube from her. Wonderful, how she dedicated her life to it. It's amazing. And that formula she has out is amazing. And there's a book on too, where it's written on, it was even in German when I was in Germany. And there's something to it. It's amazing that the government can give you chemotherapy and radiation, but you can't give an herbal tea and say it will help you with cancer. So I am for freedom, I'm for freedom of speech, and I want to really say what I feel and express myself and say what I help and not to have a choice. I want to have choices. So it works for the whole system really, and there are 8 herbs in it. I didn't write them all down, and the blessed thistle is the one which helped my girlfriend with her liver, and that's why her liver counts are so good. Also, my cleaning lady is 50 years old. She always said she's like 100. She always whines and complains, and whenever I say something, oh, I'm allergic against berries, I'm allergic against this, I'm allergic. So one day I was making my fluorescence tea, and I said, you want to try it? She says, yeah. Well, she wasn't allergic. She took 3 days home. She came back and says, can I have for another 2 weeks? I made it for her, because I make my own. I believe in making my own instead of buying the liquid. And she called me and said, I saved her life. It works for different people, different ways, whatever you need. So tea is easy to take, and it tastes good too. You can taste it here. It also encourages regular bowel movements. I know no one wants to talk about it, but it's very important. It improves the digestion system, more energy, a brighter complexion, and deeper sleep. Now, coconut oil. When I was raised in Germany, coconut oil was everywhere. My mother used it for everything. When I came to the States, there were years where they said coconut oil is not good for you. Now Dr. Oz has a recipe on it that you can reverse Alzheimer in 3 weeks by taking 3 to 6 tablespoons of coconut oil. And it boosts energy, increases metabolism. Some people say they're losing weight on it actually. It helps with cardiovascular disease, decreased inflammation, and it does so many more things. Antifungal properties, you just name it. It is a little miracle. And why I found out that it was put in the United States, unfortunately, Germany, Japan, and the Filipino were in war against the United States. And they decided, we are bringing in from the Filipino, their oil, we can no longer import the coconut oil. So they promoted their own oil. Anti-angiogenesis. This is the word which I had to Google. This is my new buddy, Dr. William Lee, who talks about why it works. And he said too that the physiological process involving the growth of new blood vessels, really from pre-existing vessels, which is very important when you have cancer or have an illness you want to prevent. And he's the one who said too, a new thinking about treating cancer. This means, can we stop cancer with food? And what we eat can be our chemotherapy. And there's a whole list. This is where the teas come in, where it's better to have more teas at once than just a single tea. Red grapes, which is resveratrol, high in resveratrol, wonderful. Strawberries, berries, raspberries, blueberries, oranges, grapefruit, I mean, you name it. It's in the book and also in addition, so you'll have that. And turmeric is in there, of course, because it's important. And my favorite thing at the end is dark chocolate. So you're allowed to have dark chocolate, so it's okay. And again, Dr. William Lee said the combination of these foods together in one drink are more powerful than individual. He shows, and you can watch on YouTube, that it's 10 times fold, and he has research on it. Organic simplified. They call it the dirty dozen. Apple is sprayed over 30 times in bloom still. Bell peppers, blueberries, celeries, cucumbers, grapes, lettuce, nectarines, peaches, potatoes, spinach, and strawberries. That's a no-no. It has to be organic, or you have to wash it forever and soak it. Clean 15, asparagus, which I was surprised, avocado, cabbage, cantaloupe, corn, eggplant, grapefruit, kiwi, mangoes, mushrooms, sweet peas, onions, sweet potatoes. It's funny, potatoes and sweet potatoes is different. They actually say that sweet potatoes is better for you than real potatoes. Pineapple and watermelon. So you don't have to stress you out over that. It's okay if it's not organic, but it's better if it is organic. The liver. Most people don't realize how important it is to love your liver. It stores the iron reserve as well as vitamins and minerals when you need it. And it gives you the strength. It makes the bile to help digest your food, detoxify the poison and the chemicals. So, of course, drinking too much alcohol is not good for you, no drugs. So without me, the bad habits will kill you. I store energy like a battery by stockpiling sugar until you need it. And I'm not talking about sugar, because when you eat fruit, there's sugar coming out of it, but it's natural fructose. I make blood that got your system going before you were born. I manufacture new protein that your body needs to stay healthy. I remove the poison from the air, exhaust smoke and chemicals you breathe in. So it's really important to have like a clean environment. And I make the clotting factors that when you cut yourself, I always wondered how you stop bleeding, how it's connected to the brain and to the liver. I help defend you against the germs going into your body all the time. I take those cold germs, flu and bugs and other germs you encounter to knock them dead or at least weaken them. One of my alternative doctor and friends says it's good to get a cold at times because it helps your own antibiotic to work again, if you're not that pure. And if you go to Israel, in Jerusalem, you see all the food hanging out there with all the flies and everyone eats it. Well, they have a good immune system, trust me. So don't drown me with beer and alcohol and wine. Watch those drugs. Be careful with aerosol spray, because that doesn't work and kill bugs alone, could kill you too. Watch what gets on your skin. So when you buy anything for your skin, make sure there's not toxin in there and no poison in there. I cannot and won't tell you when I'm in trouble till I'm almost at the end of my rope and your rope. Now you know how much I care for you. Please treat me with tender, loving care. Your silent partner and ever-loving lover. Your liver. Now, this is new. It's a BX protocol. It's a friend of mine who became a friend, who I met through a friend, and he's been researching how to kill cancer cells for over 20 years. He's so close that he was able to do it in a year, and now he's close to 6 months and almost 3 months. And not only that he can kill the cancer cells, he says he can destroy the DNA in there, so you will never have cancer again. He talks to people, so if you want to, we'll email you his phone number. And he also works on Alzheimer, autism, Parkinson, and autoimmune disease. Now, I've never had one of my friends, somehow I'm attracted to cancer patients. So, but I heard it really, really works well. I'm actually going to visit him in about a month. And I had friends of mine who had super, super success with it. Now, this is where the United States is opening up. I don't know about in Canada. We have 17 states where it's legalized to have pharmaceutical marijuana. And right now, to really have totally marijuana legalized, we have 3 states right now. California is voting, Colorado is voting, and Oregon is voting. They're actually like states like Michigan, where you can have, which is very conservative, I'm surprised. And of course, there are now pharmaceutical companies who do organic, good grade, where they call it medical cannabis product, and they have it in combination with oil, which works like Ronnie Smith, where when you take it, they have 90% or 95% cure of cancer. They had already people out of hospice. That's what they say. I have a couple of my friends that are on it right now, and every day they're getting better and better. So I do believe it does work. I don't know how it works here in Canada, but the guy, Ronnie Smith is his name, and we'll give you his website. Actually, if you want to write it down, it's CannibalCancerSociety.com. He has his phone number there, he has video there. He's also on YouTube. So if you put in hemp oil, you see video from at least 50 people who had cancer and are cured. So there's no reason for us not to have a choice. I mean, we are the one who can make a difference. Buluco, I have no idea how to pronounce this. This is actually made in Canada. And a friend of mine gave it to me just recently, who is a radiologist. He's a good friend of mine. He works for MD Anderson. And he said it helps with inflammation. I think you can buy it from health food stores. At least in Chicago you can. You can get it on the internet. And it increases the energy, reduces inflammation, which is part of cancer and other illnesses. And they call it on the internet. That's why I like the internet. It says natural alternatives to use for cancer. They can't say much more. The heart health and the blood health. So again, you can Google it and it comes up and it tells you places where you can buy it. Now, fun facts of the body. We have 206 bones in our body, 100 joints, 650 muscles, 5 million hairs, 20 square foot skin, 600,000 miles of arteries going around in our body, 13 billion nerves, 10 to 12 pints of water, which is H2O, 500 million heartbeats, average lifetime. We consume over 50 tons of food, 11 million gallons of liquid, could be beer included, or alcohol, not just water. We walk 50 million miles. Now that must have been done in Europe, because people walk everywhere. They don't look for the closest parking spot, they rather walk there. Countless thoughts and ideas going on in your head, constantly. Now, we are electromagnetic beings. You remember when I said, take your body in for tune-up, take care of yourself. Acupuncture works. Chiropractic, I mean, I did everything and anything. I still do it. I play golf, I play tennis. I do things I shouldn't do at times when I work on power. And they straighten me out, so it's okay. Now, Einstein said, energy is equal to mass times the speed of light squared. Don't ask me how we came up with this. This exchange for energy for mass occurs every second in your body, and its efficient interchange is the basis of your health and longevity. The conclusion, your thoughts upon awakening set the tone of the day. Be mindful, care for your body, feed your spirit every day, be in gratitude, and they thank you every morning you wake up. And this is freedom for you. This is your choice. So you can work and share this at any time. We will send you the new information by email, and you can share it with anyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.